Have you ever tried to apply for a visitor's visa to Canada and you got denied? Or have you ever considered applying for a visitor's visa to Canada, but you always wonder if you could do an application that would get successful? If any of these two scenarios I just explained now describes you, then this video is a must watch. In this very video, I'm going to share with you the common reasons for visitor's visa refusal and the things you need to do to avoid these refusals in future. I'm also going to show you how you can increase your chances of getting your visitor's visa approved even on the first attempt. So what I want to do is make sure you watch these videos to the very end so that you don't miss out on any crucial information. Now, we already know, or it's common knowledge, that for visitor's visa or any other type of visa application in Canada, you do not need to appear in person. All you need to do is submit your application online via the portal. What this means in essence is that you will make sure that your application, is submitted alongside with every supporting document you feel will aid your application. One thing you must understand is that visa officers base their decision, on an approval or denial on the information they have readily available to them. And this is where most people mess up their whole application. Remember that visa officers have a large volume of applications they need to process per time. So they will only depend on information that is readily available to them at that time. So if this information is limited, then your chances of approval is slim. Now, there are a lot of reasons why visitor's visa can be denied. There are a lot of them. But in this video, I'm going to be sharing the common reasons why visitor's visas are refused. Now, one of the general reasons why visitor's visas are rejected is not providing enough information. One of the reasons why the visa officer denies your visitor's visa is lack of strong ties to home country. When you're submitting your visa application, you want to focus on this area. You want to prove to the visa officer that you have strong ties to your home country, that you have assets, you have belongings that in your home country that will pull you back to your country after you must have stayed in Canada. Some of those belongings or assets might be a good job back home. For example, if you have no good job back home in your home country, this might make the visa officer think that if you come into Canada and spend your vacation, you might not want to go back to your home country since you do not have anything back home to go back to. If you come into this country and you taste the life here, you want to stay back here and look for a job to do. So this is one of the reasons why the visa officer might deny your visa. Another very good example could be family or kids, or maybe your spouse back home. If you have your parents back home, if you have your kids back home and you're applying for a visitor's visa, the visa officer, would assume that you cannot leave your family back home, all of those family members you have back home, and stay in Canada and not go back, But if most of your family members are in Canada, that might reduce your chances of getting your visitor's visa approved. Now, another very good example is maybe a business back home or maybe properties back home. Now, for the case of business back home, the business has to be fully operational and well established. You have to prove this to the visa officer. How do you prove this? By the kind of documents you submit. Is it registered with the registering bodies in your country? Now, all of those things are things you need to submit alongside your visitor's visa application. Now, when you're submitting your application, you must attach a proof of this business, either in pictures, like when I was doing mine, when I was submitting mine, I had a business. I still have that business running. I submitted pictures of my office, pictures of myself and my staff, in my office, I submitted a letter written by one of my staff stating that he was going to assume my role while I'm away in Canada, and then he would escalate any issues that come up in the business while I'm away, So all of these things just shows that there's a process, there's a good flow, the business is established, the business has a system and it's working at the time of the application. You can also submit the bank statement of the business. Since it's a business, the business has to have a bank account, You cannot run a business that you call a well-established business on your private account. It has to be a business account that carries the registration link. Now, for properties, if you have assets like properties, you want to submit a current valuation of that property. Maybe you bought that property long time ago and the value of that property is now, it's now more valued. It has gone high in value. You want to do a valuation to, show the visa officer that I have this much assets back in my home country. I'm not going to leave all of these assets and come to Canada and stay in Canada and forget my assets. All of these things are going to give you a good chance of getting your visitor visa approved. If you do not have any of these things I just mentioned right now, then your ties to your home country is weak. And the second reason why visa officers deny visitors visa is because of strong family ties in Canada. We just talked about strong family ties outside Canada. Right now, strong family ties in Canada can also pose a problem. This means that you have more family members in Canada than you have in your home country. Let's say, for instance, you have your children in Canada, or you have your siblings, most of them are in Canada, or your parents are in Canada, and you are filing for a visitor's visa. The chances of the visa officer approving your visa is slim because they feel that if you come in here, you have more family members in Canada, which will make you so very comfortable, you might not want to go back to your home country. This is another reason for rejection. The third reason why visitors visas are approved could be for travel history. Now, if you have no travel history, you have not traveled before to any foreign country aside from your country where you stay or where you were born, okay, the visitor officer might think that you are a risk, that you might not go back to your home country after visiting Canada. Now, his thought will be that this person has never traveled all his life. Why does he want to do that now? I want to stop here now and ask you to do me a favor. Guys, just click on the like button. That is one way to support my channel. I really appreciate you all. Thank you so much. One thing I want you to understand is that not all visitors visas are disapproved for travel history. Okay, some people get it approved even when they have not traveled before. But one of the major reasons why the visitor visas are disapproved is because of travel history. Now, if the situation was the reverse, let's say you've traveled to some other countries aside from your country, maybe you've gone to Europe, you've gone to UK, you've gone to Australia, or any country, maybe USA and all that. Your chances of getting your visitor visa approved is high because they can see an evidence that you've been to these countries and you went back to your home country at the expiration of your vacation. You did not overstay, you did not stay back. So that's enough proof that if you come into Canada, you would go back after your vacation. So your chances of getting your visitor visa approved is high in this situation. Now, the fourth reason why visitors visas are disapproved is the purpose of visit. You as an applicant, okay, must understand your reason for wanting to come into Canada. The visa officer wants to be certain that you understand why you are coming into this country on vacation. If you're coming for a wedding or a housewarming, or coming to assist a family member who just put to bed, or coming for a business trip or a wedding anniversary, you must ensure that you include every detail that relates to your visit in your application. If you choose to come in as a tourist, maybe you just want to come sightsee and all of that, you must ensure that you provide every detail of your itinerary, everywhere you plan to visit when you get into Canada from the very first day must be outlined in your application. If you're able to do all of these things I just explained right now, then your chances of approval is high. Now, the fifth reason why visitors visas are disapproved is for financial reasons. If as an applicant, you are not able to provide a tight financial document, then your chances of being approved is slim. The visa officer wants to be certain that you have enough money for this trip, you have enough money to take care of you when you get into Canada, and also have enough left when you go back to your home country. You do not want to spend your whole life savings on a vacation. Let's take, for instance, you have 4 million naira in your bank account, and this is what you are showing, this is what you are submitting at the point of application as the total sum you have. Now, the visa officer wants to take account the total cost of your air tickets to and fro to back to your home country. They want to take account the living expenses, how much you're going to be spending on yourself, your upkeep, your feeding, your accommodation, if you are staying in a hotel or an Airbnb. All of these things will be calculated by the visa officers. And if at the end of the calculation, they see that you are already spending almost the whole money you have in your account, which is 4 million, they are now going to be wondering, what is going to happen to you when you go back to your home country? What do you have left? What will make you go back if you don't have enough money with you? Now, these are some of the reasons why visas are denied. Now, these are some of the documents that you need to submit to support your finances. Your tax income statement for the past 2 to 3 years. The second thing you need to submit is 6 months bank statement. Some people submit 4 months, okay, but it is good or better to submit 6 months because it shows a better trail of how much you have or how much is going on your account. Now, I want to mention that please do not make lump sum deposits into your account while trying to apply for a visitor's visa. This is because visa officers are smart, okay? They are smart and they can tell when something is for a demonstration purpose. So if you put in lump sum monies into your account, you must be ready to explain the source of those income and show proof or receipt of those monies coming into your account. How you made those monies needs to be clearly stated on your statement of purpose. If you have a job, you want to submit a few months pay stubs or pay slips, as the case may be. Now, this is just to show that, okay, I have a good job and I earn this amount of money, okay? Now, you also want to submit mutual funds. If you have mutual funds, this is another way to support your finances. You can show the visa officer that I have this amount as an asset in this particular account. You can also submit other crowdfunding, investments you have, if you have them. These are one ways to, make your chances of being approved very high. If you're a retiree, you can show your pension funds or any certification that shows your pension statement, okay? This can also aid your visitor visa application. The most important thing in all of the things I've been saying so far is that you want to show the source of your income. You want to show where all of these monies you have declared, okay, that you have is coming from. In other words, you need to show your source of income. You need to show details of a stable employment that you have. You need to state how long you have been working in that company you have declared that you work in. You need to also probably get a letter of absence from your employer showing that they've allowed you to go on this vacation for this period of time. This will further strengthen your visa application because it tells the visa officer that, okay, you want to go out, you want to go for a vacation for a few period of time and then come back to your job when the vacation is over. If you don't work and you are self-employed, you want to show every relevant detail that is tied to your source of income or to your business, okay? Now, for my case, when I did mine, I had to show, pictures of my business place. I run a couple of short let apartments in Lagos, okay? So what I did is I showed pictures, proof of my apartment listings on different websites where I advertising, okay? I took screenshots of these things and I put it alongside my application. I also got screenshots of chats I had with some customers asking for, making inquiries for reservation. Then I also got screenshots of reservations that were made and payments that came in. What I did in this case was that I referred to my bank statement for each deposit or for each payment I got within that period. I made references in my bank statements. What I was trying to do was match the two, documents together so that they can see that, okay, these monies came in from these customers at this time. I also got pictures of myself and my staff in my place of work, okay, my office, okay. I also got a staff of mine to write a letter stating they're going to stay in my stead and act in my place, okay, taking my roles and functions while I'm away. And then if there's any need for escalation, then they will be escalating those issues to me. All of these things were the things I did so that the visa officer will be certain that this business is fully operational and is well established and it has a system, okay. One other thing I tried to do was I ensured that every reservations I took as screenshots, okay, were reservations that came in the week I submitted my application. All of this was just to show that the business was still running. If you do not work or you do not own a business, then your chances of being denied is very high. Number 6 reason why you could be denied a visitor's visa is your length of stay. Most people, when they want to, state how long they will be staying on a visitor's visa application, some people take 6 months. That's a very, very wrong thing to pick because this will make the visa officer suspicious of your motive. If you have something very good you're doing back home, if you have a good business, you have a good job you're doing back home, you would not take 6 months for vacation, okay? Because your business or your job will not wait for you. So the visa officer automatically feels suspicious about your motive. My advice would be that if you must state how long you want to stay in Canada, I advise that you take at least 1 month or a maximum of 2 months. Do not exceed these 2 lengths of stay. Now, let's talk about host documentation. Your host is the person who is inviting you to come to Canada. Now, this person plays a very vital or crucial role in your application process. Your host must be willing and ready to give you an invitation letter. And in this letter, your host must state clearly your relationship with him or her, how long he has known you, and the reason why he is inviting you for this trip. If this letter is not submitted with your application, then your chances of being denied is very high. Let me tell you some important documents you should request from your host when you are filing your visitor visa application. Number 1 is his notice of assessment. We know that here in Canada, the government is big on taxes. The government wants to know if your host is bona fide, if your host is, law abiding. what is his assessment when it comes to taxes. The second document you want to get from your host is his bank statement, at least 6 to 4 months bank statements of his. They want to be sure that your host is even capable, is okay, is doing well in Canada to be able to invite you. The third thing you want to find out from your host or get from your host is his immigration status. Is he a student? Does he work? Is he a temporary foreign worker? Is he a permanent resident or a citizen? All of these documents needs to be submitted alongside your application. The other thing you want to get from your host is his age. If the age of your host is really young, okay, then that might be a concern for the visa officer, because how does a very young person want to take care of you when you get into Canada? Also, the visa officer also wants to know the marital status of your host. These are important things you must have in your application. Now, let me give you one very good advice. Make sure that as you are filling your forms and submitting this application, that you are providing the right information for the visa officers. Please remember that the Canadian government, okay, or the Canadian immigration shares information with the US, Australia, Europe, and the UK. Now, these countries share information, and so if you hide any information, they can always get it from any of these countries if you've gone to these countries before. So if you have been denied a visa in any of these countries, or even any other country aside from this country, make sure that you are stating it in your application, or you are filling it in the part where it's asking you, have you ever been denied a visa? If you do not do this, then you will be caught for misrepresentation. Another case of misrepresentation is when you add a doctored document or a fake document to your application. Some way people do this could be maybe a fake job offer, okay, or a fake job employment, or say a fake or doctored bank statement. Now, if you do this and you are caught, one thing I want you to understand is that the visa officers are really smart. They have certain ways they verify these things, okay? If you are caught, you could get a 5-year ban, and this is also misrepresentation. Now, all of these things I have shared so far are the most common reasons why visas are being denied, okay? Even though there are still some other reasons, these are the most common that we know about. Now, let me walk you through some other reasons why your visa could be denied. One is if you have previously overstayed in Canada. Maybe you have come to Canada before, and in the last time you came, you overstayed. This could earn you a denial in your current application. Another reason could be if you have an illegal status in your country of residence. It might not be your home country. It might be that you currently reside in the UAE or in any other country of the world, and you are not there legally, or you've overstayed your welcome in that country. This could also cause you a visa denial in Canada. Another reason could be failure to meet the health standard that is required by the Canadian government. As you all know, before you can be allowed into Canada, or before your visa can be approved, you need to go for a health check. And once you're able to meet or pass the health check, then you'll be allowed, or your visa will be granted, okay? But if you do not meet this, then your visa could be denied. Another reason why you could get a visa denial is if you have improperly filled your application forms. Now, when you're submitting your visa application, there are certain forms you must fill. Now, if you do not fill these forms, carefully and correctly, you could also be denied. Remember that the visa officer is burdened already with so many files that they need to process, okay? So they do not have time to go into your file and start looking for a missing information, or to call you to add a missing information. Nobody has time for that. So you want to be sure that you are putting in every detail that needs to go in with that application at the first attempt, okay? Guys, I hope that this video will help you, or I hope that this video will help you put in a better application if you have done that before in the past. My goal actually is to help people save time and money by going through the immigration process themselves. The cost of getting a consultant, okay, or immigration lawyer is really high. So I want to help you save that time and that money you're going to spend. If you watch my videos should help you, get through these hassles in a very short time. I'll see you guys on the next one.